The total blood moon lunar eclipse in Virgo is happening tomorrow on the third day of the third month at 3:33 a.m. Pacific time. I'm kidding, no it's not. Astrologers are lying out there and we have to use our Virgo discernment because it's not the only fake news out there. Anyway, this is the last total lunar eclipse until 2029, which means it's pretty powerful, but this is not the beginning of a new story because it's the South Node. The South Node is the tail end of the dragon, so this is about an ending. This is a culmination point. This is all about integration, where we are integrating lessons from the past. We are breaking out of repeated patterns and cycles, and we've learnt the lesson, we've been there, done that, and then we move on. We're also picking up gifts from the past or our past lives, integrating that, and then we're moving forward. But also Jupiter is having a really beautiful supportive trine to this full moon, but Jupiter's also in retrograde, so it's another connection to the past. The dispositor or the ruler of this Virgo full moon eclipse is Mercury, which is also retrograde, so another past connection. There is something coming back around again from the past that is going to then propel us forward into the future, propel us into something new, which is the North Node, the head of the dragon. This is where our soul is moving into next. But this eclipse is really a cleaning up and a locking in the sign of Virgo, which is a bit of a hard ass, and it is a harsh mirror to make us look at ourselves and our shit, and it's really the message of check yourself before you wreck yourself. This is going to show us all the areas of our life that we need to clean up before we can move forward, and it's also going to show us where we're self-sabotaging and where we don't feel good enough. It's going to show us what needs refinement, because that's what Virgo is all about. Especially with Mercury in retrograde as well right now, we have to redo something, revisit something, refine something. And in Virgo, we are looking at the little details, and something needs to change. The little details need to change, but that's going to make a big impact on changing your life. This is a complete editing of your life in the sign of Virgo, which is known for crossing its T's and dotting its I's. But lunar eclipses really come to speed up our evolutionary process. This is when timelines shift. This is when realities start clicking into place, especially because we've already had 2 Virgo eclipses last year in March and September, and you can look back to those times and see if similar themes are coming back around again, because they probably are. But lunar eclipses are really amazing and powerful because you're letting go and moving on from something, and our lives don't improve only by what's added, they're improved by what's removed. And this is the time for us to remove something, let go of something, move on from something, refine it in order to move forward. But there is a bit of a tug of war with the energies, because this full moon eclipse in Virgo is opposing a stellium in Pisces. A stellium is just multiple planets together, so we have Mars, the Sun, Mercury and Venus all in Pisces right now opposing this eclipse. So Pisces is all about our intuition and our feeling, and Virgo is all about our discernment and logic and method and strategy. So we're having to find a balance between the two. So like I said, this isn't the start of something new, but more of a course correction or a redirection or a turning point where something becomes clear. This Virgo energy is going to bring the truth to light about something. The truth comes out about a person, a situation, a thing, and there's something that demands clarity, especially with Virgo in retrograde in the sign of its fall in Pisces, because Mercury's happy place is in Virgo, not the opposing sign of Pisces. This is where our logic is completely offline. We are only led by our intuition at best, but normally just led by the whims of our emotion, which aren't always accurate. And some of the shocking realizations we're going to have is realizing the difference between what we thought someone said and what they actually meant, and what someone said to us and the belief that we created around it, which was completely false and not their intention at all. And if something has hurt you, it's revealing more about you than it is about them, and it's revealing what's going on with you, what's unhealed emotionally or psychologically within yourself. You might walk away from a situation thinking that someone betrayed you, but it wasn't actually betrayal, it was just a boundary that you failed to set. And these arguments or these disagreements that are going to happen around this time in the Virgo retrograde period is not happening because anyone's hurting you, but it's because you're misunderstanding and taking it the wrong way. Both of you are not understanding each other's side, or you're projecting what you think based on how you're feeling on the inside, and it's not actually what they meant. So there's going to be a lot of, kind of slaps in the faces from the universe about that. Where we're kind of seeing the positive and the shadow of Pisces. The Pisces energy is that deep knowing, that inner knowing, that intuition, but it's also the shadow side of it is this seductive, dreamy delusion. And you have to realize which one you're in. And you need to realize where you're self-sabotaging and where you're telling yourself stories that are not actually the truth. It's just based on how you're feeling right now, and it's got nothing to do with the person that you had that fight or that falling out with. And I've made a video on that. My last video on Instagram was about that as well. But with Mercury and Pisces, everything's really foggy and we can't actually understand or communicate properly. So just a warning about that. And I'm talking so much about the Mercury retrograde because it's happening smack bang in the middle of this eclipse portal, and it's also the ruler of this eclipse. So we need to talk about what Mercury's doing and the fact that it's struggling in the sign of Pisces. But in Pisces, we lie to ourselves beautifully. But then with this Mercury retrograde and this full moon eclipse, this is when that comes to an end. This is when the truth comes out about something. This is where we're realizing our self-sabotaging patterns. With this South Node Eclipse, we're realizing what we've repeated over and over and over again, and we're realizing, okay, wait, we've been there, done that. It's time to wrap this up and not repeat this again. It's time to move forward into something new. Now, the entire month of March is full of eclipse activation. So it doesn't just end on March 3 and then it's all over. This is hitting the same eclipse point over and over and over again to get the message through of what we need to clear and let go of and what we need to do next to move forward. And with this eclipse specifically, trining Jupiter brings in opportunities, and so we are going to be surrounded by opportunities, either new or old ones. Old opportunities from the past that we thought we missed might come back around again because Jupiter's in retrograde. So I'd pay attention 10 days after this eclipse, but even further because there's activations throughout the whole month, even into April and May. But the message really is there are opportunities that are awaiting you at the end of this eclipse. I also want to mention that time might feel like it's warped at this time. It might be really weird. It might feel really accelerated or really slow, or might feel like that at the same time because we're shifting timelines during the eclipse cycles, especially because the last eclipse we just had was in Aquarius. That's in the new set of eclipses in like August of this year, while Virgo, this eclipse now, is talking about what happened last year. So we're kind of going back and forth, and this total lunar eclipse is really powerful because both nodes are being activated. So the luminaries are hitting both the north and the south node. So this eclipse isn't just about letting go. It's not just about an ending or a culmination. It's also about merging the energy of the past and bringing it into the present. We're letting go of something to move forward. So we're kind of getting messages about what we need to do next, but also messages about what we need to clear up to get there. And it's all coming in at the same time. I really like this supportive energy of Jupiter trining this full moon eclipse because this is going to help us. It's going to be easier for us to let things go, the things that we need to break ties with, because we are going to be surrounded by opportunities. Jupiter is the planet of opportunity and expansion, and so we're going to have these opportunities coming in, and it's going to be sad and it's going to be hard to let things go, but a little bit easier because we're already being shown what's coming next. And with Mercury and Jupiter both in retrograde, this means that there are people from the past coming back to help us to move forward. They are helping us with our goals. They are helping us align with our destiny. And these two retrogrades together, it's really saying to me that you're going to get a very important message from someone from the past. And because Mercury is all about communication and conversation, in the sign of Pisces, it could be really healing and unconditionally loving. And with Jupiter, it could be expansive. But there's also something that we need to redecide or think over. And with the South Node, we're bringing something back from the past. We're integrating it. We're bringing it back into the mix. There's something that we've left behind maybe in the past that's actually a really, really key to the foundation that we're building now in order to move forward. So there's a lot of things that we need to decipher right now, but we need to pay attention to the signs and the synchronicities and any messages that come through. There's going to be things that feel fated and aligned. Because Mercury is in the sign of Pisces, there's a stellium of planets in Pisces. Pisces is the feeling sign. There's going to be something that we feel drawn to. There's going to be something that feels important for some strange, unknown, unexplained reason, and we need to follow that. There's going to be signs coming in through our dreams where it means something, so take note of that. And all the arguments and disputes or disagreements or miscommunications happening around this time or happening in the past that are going to come back into your consciousness again, it's all pulling you into the truth of what's happening on the inside. It's like what you thought someone meant isn't actually what they meant. And that truth is going to hit you in the face sooner or later. And you're going to realize what you perceive the external to be is just a reflection of you. So you cannot blame anyone right now because you're going to get slapped in the face. You cannot think someone hurt you because that reflection is going to come back and make you realize, oh, actually, it was how I took it, or it's the belief that I had around it, or it's my own unworthiness, or whatever story I created around it wasn't actually based on truth. It was based on how I was feeling on the inside, and this is what this Mercury retrograde is doing. It's making us turn inward into that deep psychological, emotional state of like, why do I act this way when someone says something? Why did I take it that way? Why did I create that belief when that person said that to me? And this is going to be, in the sign of Pisces, it's a spiritual period of integration where we're really going deep inward. But this isn't going to be fun for our ego, because the ego isn't going to know, it's really going to have difficulty in attaching to anything, really. It's going to have trouble attaching or stabilizing itself to anything or to any certain story, because all those stories are kind of falling apart right now. So, but the good news is that there are a lot of past people coming back to support with the Jupiter and Mercury retrograde. Past people are coming back and it's going to be a good thing. But even new people, they're going to feel familiar. You might have known them in a past life, so it's still like a past connection coming back around. Or you're just going to feel really pulled to them. And that is going to be the support you need to, kind of overcome that. Any like disputes that happen or any disagreements, there is going to be healing around that, because you are now giving yourself the time to go inward and really look at yourself and go, what's the truth? What's the story I created? This is when we have to face what we skipped. We have to face what we pretended we didn't hear. We have to face the story we created around something just to make us feel better, just to make ourselves feel right in the situation, even though maybe we weren't. And this is when destiny comes through information, because this is what the Virgo archetype is connected to. And really seeing the difference between what we're told versus what we wanted to hear. There is no more justifying. There is no more deluding yourself. There is no more tricking or lying to yourself. This is when the truth comes and slaps you in the face. So I just wanted to say the dates of the eclipse activations that are going to happen throughout this whole month. So we have on March 13th, Mars in an exact conjunction to the North Node. Then we have Mercury retrograde in a conjunction with Mars on March 15th. Then on March 17th, we have Mercury retrograde again, exact conjunction with the North Node. What all this means is that there are fated messages coming in, that we can't quite decipher yet because of the Mercury retrograde, but they are going to come abruptly because it's connected to Mars, but it's going to help us change things, and it's going to help us move in a new path, a new direction, something that's more aligned with our destiny. And a message or an idea is going to come in. There's something that we have to revisit or redo with the retrograde energy. And yes, we might be deceiving ourselves, so we're going to have to move through that. We're going to realize there's people, conversations, situations we didn't completely understand. We're going to then feel deceived because we didn't understand it or we took it the wrong way, and then we're going to have to heal through that and awaken to that and move into a direction where we get more understanding and more clarity, and we're just slowly moving through the fog of Pisces to feel our way into clarity, which is like, that's literally all we can do right now. And this message, because Mars is in the mix, it can come in quickly. We might be forced to make a decision quickly when we're not exactly ready, but the message is that is the path, that we might actually have to make a decision abruptly and quickly, but the decision we make, the conversation we have, the situation that unfolds right now is part of your path, and it's part of your destiny, it's part of your purpose. And it's exactly what we need to move into for the next chapter of our soul's evolution, even if you can't see that yet, even if it doesn't make sense. And I said this in my last video, that everything that comes up during this Mercury retrograde is leading you to something fated. It is going to help realign you to your destiny, and we just have to trust that right now, because in this Pisces fog, we're not going to have exact answers yet, but by the end of this eclipse period and all these activations, slowly more truth is coming out. Also, on March 20th, we have Mercury station direct, which is also making an exact conjunction to the North Node. So the Mercury has done a conjunction with the North Node multiple times. So this is which doesn't happen all the time. So this is an even more potent activation because it's hitting it twice. And this is the universe reopening a door that we thought we already walked through. I think we thought we already overcome. We thought we already sorted it out. And now we're going back through this doorway, but the hallway is flooded with information. This is when more clarity comes, more truth comes to light. This is where we read the fine print still and figure out the truth and the clarity around get clarity around a certain situation. So this is a really big faded moment as well, and something that came up during these two eclipses, the last Aquarius one and this one, is going to be amplified around March 20th. And it's going to be in the forefront of our minds, the forefront of our consciousness. Even situations from March and September last year, themes are going to be spiraling around our minds around that. There's something we really need to revisit and think over in a more introspective way, because we're in Mercury retrograde right now. And that's going to lead us to some type of breakthrough moment. And we're going to see things clearly. We're going to know what to do. And this is when all these activations are hitting the North Node. So this is where we're heading into next. By the end of March, hopefully, we all know exactly what we need to do for our soul's path and our soul's evolution. I also wanted to mention that another planet in the Pisces Stellium is Venus, and it's going to be very close to the North Node. So it's going to be about love and relationships and maybe finances. And then also with the North Node involved, it's going to be connected to our future and our destiny. So this Virgo eclipse could bring the truth. The truth could come out behind a certain connection. Reconnections could happen with people from our past that could be really healing, because Pisces is all about healing, where we can repair something. And if we come from the right place, where we are taking a hard look at ourselves, which is what Virgo is wanting us to do right now, and being honest about our own projecting in arguments or in conversation, we are going to be able to have clarification through unconditionally loving conversations and meetups with people in your life that you're meant to have. And really whatever comes forward now will alter the course of your life's direction, your destiny, your purpose, everything, because there are so many activation points on the North Node, which is all about the next chapter. It's all about fate and destiny, and with Venus it could be connected to a relationship specifically. And really the question is, does this connection make your life steadier and clearer and happier, or and more honest, because that's Virgo, or does it confuse you? And is the connection just foggy? Because that's the shadow of Pisces, where it's just a mess and you don't know what's going on. This is going to come to light now of like what connections you're meant to keep and which ones you're meant to let go of. So with the stellium in Pisces, with Mercury retrograde in Pisces, our psychic abilities could be coming online, our intuition could be on fire, but the thing is we don't know how to ground that energy. And then we're up against the Virgo discernment, like knowing for a fact kind of energy. So it's going to be a bit messy, and there really needs to be a reevaluation where we admit to ourselves where we might have projected or understood something the wrong way, so we can understand something or someone to the core. So we know the truth and we don't walk away with a false made up story in our minds where we believe something that didn't actually happen. It's just something we projected. And it's going to be, where our, like everything that we've romanticized will get hit with the truth, and it's going to help us break these repeating patterns, whether that's self-sabotaging patterns, whether that's delusional, disassociating, procrastinating kind of patterns as well with Pisces. And then Virgo is really where we're going to awaken to reality. So it's like all this stuff is happening at once, and there's the biggest question I think of this whole kind of month is, have you learned discernment? This, because we need to tap into the Virgo archetype right now with all the energy in Pisces, all those planets there. We need to tap into Virgo's reality, truth, and discernment, and really see, have you learnt discernment, or are you still confusing longing with truth? Are you still confusing the stories you've put in your mind as truth? And you're not going to get anywhere with false stories. The universe is here to bring you the truth, because that's for your highest good and that's what's going to serve you to move forward.